Hi everyone, today we're going to take a look at the week 1 packet where we're working with elimination. You have the YouTube videos that show you how to solve it, but I actually want to go over examples number 1 and 11 so you can see an example of the problems that you're looking at worked out. So remember, this is week 1. If I look at number 1, it is asking you to use the elimination method by adding the two equations to solve. Number 1 is 5x plus 2y equals negative 6. And the second equation is 2x minus 2y equals negative 8. So when I look at these two equations, I can see that the x's are lined up, the y's are lined up. This is a positive 2y and a negative 2y. I know that if I have 2 and I take 2 away, it's going to be 0. That means that these equations can cancel out, or I can eliminate a variable right away. For these equations, we're practicing adding them together, because if I have that 2y plus the negative 2y, it's going to equal 0. So I can go ahead and add each part of the equation together. 5x plus 2x gives us 7x. 2y plus negative 2y gives us that 0, and because it's 0, we can cancel it out. We can eliminate the y's. Negative 6 plus a negative 8 is going to give us a negative 14. So the equation I have now is 7x equals negative 14. I can divide each side by 7. That 7 divided by 7 is going to cancel out, and we're going to be left with x. Negative 14 divided by 7 gives us a negative 2. I now have that my x value for this equation is x equals negative 2. I'm going to take that and plug it in and substitute it into either equation. I'm going to go ahead and try plugging it in to the top equation up here. So our new equation is going to be 5. But now instead of x, I'm plugging in what x equals, which is negative 2, plus 2y equals negative 6. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, plus 2y equals negative 6. I need to get y by itself. So I look at the side of the equation that my variable's on, and I can cover up y and the thing closest to it. I want to get rid of that negative 10 first. I cancel out a negative 10 by adding 10. So I'm going to add 10 to this side and add 10 to this side. Negative 10 plus 10 is 0. So those cancel out. I am left with 2y equals negative 6 plus 10, which is 4. I'm going to divide 2 from this side. That means I have to do the same thing on that side of the equation. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so I'm left with 1y. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So my y value is 2. When I write my final answer is written as a point, x, comma, y. The answer for number 1 on your week 1 packet is going to be negative 2, 2. Numbers 1 through 10 you will solve using adding, meaning all of those equations you are going to add to cancel out a variable. Once we move to number 11, we're going to subtract to eliminate. Number 11 is negative 3x minus 3y equals 9. And negative 10x minus 3y equals 23. When I take a look at this, I try to see, is there a variable that would be easy to eliminate? The x's are lined up and the y's are lined up. Both y values have a negative 3 in front of them. Since those signs match and the numbers match, they're both negative, they're both 3, I know that I can easily eliminate these y's. But in order for like signs, if they're both positive or both negative, to eliminate, we have to use subtraction. So I'm going to subtract these full equations. We have negative 3x minus negative 10x. We have to be mindful that that double negative becomes a positive. This is really negative 3x plus 10x, which is going to give us 7x. Negative 3y minus negative 3y becomes negative 3y plus 3y, which is going to be 0. Because it's 0, we can cancel it out or eliminate those y's. Now we have 9 minus 23, which is going to give us negative 14. My new equation is now 7x equals negative 14. I'm going to cancel out the 7 by dividing 7 from this side and dividing 7 from this side. 7 divided by 7 is 1. It's going to leave us with 1x, which is what we're looking for. Negative 14 divided by positive 7 is going to give us a negative 2. So I now have that my x value of this equation is negative 2. I'm going to take it and plug it back into either of my original equations. I'm going to go ahead and just use the first one. So I'm going to take this negative 2 and plug it back in every time I see x in that first equation. My new equation is going to be negative 3, but instead of x, I'm going to plug in negative 2 minus 3y equals 9. Negative 3 times negative 2 is a positive 6 minus 3y equals 9. Now I'm just solving for this variable. I want to get y by itself. I look at the side of the equation y is on. I cover up y and the thing closest to it. I want to get rid of that positive 6 first. We cancel out a positive 6 by subtracting 6. If I subtract 6 from this side, I also need to do it over here. So I'm going to subtract 6. 6 minus 6 is 0, which is why those cancel out. I'm left with negative 3y equals positive 3. I'm going to divide each side by negative 3. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 leaves us with the 1y that we're looking for. And then positive 3 divided by negative 3 is negative 1. So on number 11, when we are subtracting the system of equations to use the elimination method, our final answer is still going to be written as x comma y. And in this case, our x value is negative 2 and our y value is negative 1. So that would be our final answer for number 11.